Yay, it's working technology. Gotta love
Yay.
it. Hi, Lauren. Hey everybody. I'm excited to introduce you, Lauren Furtado. She is the owner and creator of Live Happier. And Lauren, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
Hi, guys. So I'm a certified health coach, and I created Live Happier to create a personal development space resource for specifically geared towards people in like the quarter life phase of life, technically around like the 25 to 35 age range. And I create various resources, so events and like worksheets, and then also private and group classes to really work on your health transformation and kind of just your lifestyle transformation in that time.
Now, when you say health, do you mean like physical health, emotional health, mental health, or all of the above?
It's funny. It always ends up kind of branching into everything. I specifically focus on the like physical health aspect. So, how to eat intentionally, what to eat, different ways to move your body. And really, like, honestly, the biggest thing we focus on is just habit change and how to really create and break habits.
Yeah. So what would be a tip that you could share with us on how to create and break habits? Or is that like you got to sign up?
Yeah. The first thing that I always do with someone when we get on the phone is just check in and see where they're at and really get an understanding of what their goal is.
Uh-huh.
And from there, it's really easy to kind of just start weaving in through the conversation, bringing up why it's so important to them. And that kind of helps us narrow down what their actual goal is. So people will say like, oh, I want to eat healthier. And that's pretty broad in terms of getting people to really change major behavior.
Right.
So that kind of start digging in a little bit, and visualizing like, well, what does that look like to you? And usually it ends up kind of getting into something more around like, I want to be, feel empowered by knowing that I can make the choices that I want to make. I know this is the healthy choice, but I'm not choosing it. So sometimes it comes back to more of, like I said, like an empowerment piece. So,
right.
really,
And the why too, do you find like the why, like why am I not making that healthy choice? It's like you have to get to the root cause.
Absolutely. The why is one of the most important things because it's really what's going to either drive you to change or not. Like if you haven't really honed in on why something's super important to you and you're not like a super disciplined kind of type A person, you're probably going to keep hitting the same, or various different barriers because it's you're not focused on that like underlying need that you're trying to meet.
Right. Huh. Interesting. So do you believe in the theory that it takes 30 days to create a habit? Is that really true?
I've actually heard it's closer to 60 days. And I do believe it. I think that, our brains are formed by patterns. I mean, our brain is always looking to do the easy thing or the safe thing. So if it's something you've done over and over, your brain understands that and knows it and will want you to keep doing it.
Right.
So yes, if you've done something over and over again, it's easy to keep doing it. So obviously if you're doing it for 60 days, it'll start to kind of pick up that pattern.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I love that your focus is also on that. What do you call it? The quarter lifers? Do you think that, because I know everybody focuses on like the midlife crisis or whatever. I'm like kind of in the middle between quarter life and midlife personally. But I felt like quarter life was like, I mean, I hope I don't hit a midlife crisis because I felt like quarter life crisis was really hard. Like there's just so many uncertainties. Like you're on a path and you have, it's expected that you go to school right out of high school. And like, if you know what you want to do right out of high school, more power to you. I didn't. And I don't know, that just seemed like a really challenging time in life to like not know what the heck we're doing.
Yeah. And it's very, very common. I mean, that's why there is, the term quarter life crisis, because apparently it is very common. And it typically, like, I personally have seen with people that a real, like, kind of breaking point, if you want to call it that, of like confusion and overwhelm typically happens around like 28 to 30 is what I see. And I think it comes from a variety of reasons of like, you've had time to be out of like the whole college life phase, and you're like now like fully, have lived as an adult for a while. And that's like, oh my gosh, time is just like actually keeps going really quickly.
Yeah.
I think that kind of realization of like, oh, am I where I want to be? I thought I was just kind of cruising in my 20s, but now I'm like hitting this point, and I think it just hits people really hard of just kind of taking that like look into their future, and is this where they, are they going where they want to be going? And then they throw in the whole family thing. I want to start a family, and it just becomes a lot.
Yeah. So what kind of advice or work do you give people? Like, what is the main goal, I guess? Or maybe it's each person is so individualized that it depends. And then that's where we would say, reach out to Lauren and she can have one-on-one session with you. But
Yeah.
it seems like when you start talking to people, a lot of people have the same feelings or issues. They're just like maybe not talking about it until they start.
That is definitely true. I think that I actually held an event back, I think it was maybe October or something of last year, all about kind of the quarter life crisis, and just kind of getting people together to share their experiences and share tips if they had them, but more it was just to hear each other out. And it's funny how I would have never known that, because I knew a lot of people there, I wouldn't have known that they were necessarily feeling this type of way until we kind of all got together to talk about it. So that was really nice. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to the individual, when we get together, it's not so much about solving, the crisis. It's more just having someone to talk to about it and keeping you accountable to what you do want to work on. So, there's usually something in that phase where is it, trying to get to the next step of your career? Is it starting to take the steps to start a family? Or it could be that really personal, transformational health transformation. And so whatever it is, we just kind of like make some steps and work on them each week, kind of have a little bit of a plan. And then I kind of keep you accountable to like showing up for yourself every week and do it instead of getting like kind of shutting down a little bit,
Yeah. And I think it's really easy to. I think like when we want something, there's so much content available these days that it's like this analysis paralysis. Like, it's like, where do I start? So I think having somebody like you to kind of really listen and hear and focus on what your client needs, and then like help them create a path that's going to be successful in achieving those desires and goals and outcomes is huge. How'd you get into this? This is such like a cool little career choice.
My brain works in like planning and execution. Marketing for almost a decade before this, so obviously worked on many projects, and so I kind of just have that, like, that's just like, to me, that's natural, just kind of looking at the next step, making a plan, and executing. So I kind of bring that into this, the health transformation side of it and the habit change side of things, and kind of combine it all together. And I got into it because I went through my own, kind of journey around that phase, and that's when I started.
Did you have somebody that helped you?
Well, I did a whole training program, so that was my help. Was I was like 6 months to 12. It took me about a year to go through the program, and that's where I really learned all of the habit change work and worked with different people and different coaches. And it was so huge for me just to like, these things that you don't really learn usually like in school or anywhere else. They're they can just change your life.
Right.
There's like, it sounds so cliche, but it really is true. So that kind of just like sucked me in. And then I kind of, like I said, I brought that into my past experience of project management and
Yeah.
kind of put it all together.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is interesting that these are like seem like basic life skills and they are never taught. And I think it's a detriment in a sense to our society because every phase of life has different challenges, and the only time that it seems like it's, well, how do I phrase this? Every phase of your life has different challenges, and the times that I'll say, for me personally, the times that I feel okay with all those challenges is when I feel like I have support, somebody to talk to, somebody to figure it out with. If I don't, it's just a really fast downward spiral. So I think that's huge that you found like your passion and you're able to help other people based on your experience and wanting to create it for your own life and yourself.
Yeah, well, and I didn't find that out till later, but exactly what you just said, the support is, it's like, it just makes the world of a difference. Then for me, I kind of went into this whole new area of entrepreneurship, and that also can be a very like lonely place where, again, the connection, the support can really make break it, honestly.
And I think, yeah, like I've had business coaches, which also I think the same as what you're saying, turn into life coaches in a way because it's habit changing, habit creation, and then like really like goals and direction are formed on a root cause basis, and your why, like figuring all that out, is very emotional. It's not just like I want to make this much money and I want this kind of career because that's what I want. Like you have to figure out why, otherwise it won't work. So I think it's great what you're doing. I think I've loved all the coaches that I've had. It's this experience that's unforgettable and really levitates you into this whole new sphere of knowing yourself. Like, it's cool.
Exactly. And that's, when we go through the group classes, that's a huge part of it. There's a lot of health specific things that can help people if, their goal is losing weight, for example, or just trying to get out of the the junk food, snacky stuff and into healthy foods. But then a huge part of it is all the personal development stuff that, like you said, there's so many resources out there. But it is nice to kind of come together and have a set day each week where you're going to work through some things where someone can lead you. You don't have to kind of figure it out. And it's huge. I mean, it was huge for me.
So how do you work? How do people, so you said that you have a lot of resources, you have group meetings, and how do people get in touch with you, and how do you help them with their health and development?
Yeah. So everything starts on my website, and then you contact me there, and then we can either, if you want to do something privately, we set that up. Otherwise, I have like a specific date usually where it posted that will be the next group starting. And I think right now the next group is at the end of this month. I want to say like the 27th or something of June.
Okay. Virtually, so, I'm imagining right now.
Virtually, yes. I was about to start with Sandy at Monarch Pilates using her space.
Yeah.
Then COVID. So so yes, virtually right now. And yeah, we always start usually, unless people really, well, actually I've never done that without a call first, just to kind of like, I just want to gauge where someone is at, if this is right for them, because sometimes people want like a quick weight loss solution. That's not me.
Right.
Or a personal trainer, right. I'm not going to come and, tell you what weights to use. So I like to make sure that they're in the right space and that they're committed, especially if they're going to be doing the group classes, because you want everyone, to participate. So yeah, we start there with a call and just chat and then schedule it out.
That's awesome. What else, anything else that you can share with us or want to share with us about why you're in this field and why it makes you happy doing what you're doing?
Gosh, I think that, this all started when I was in my previous career and I hit that quarter life crisis phase of like, oh my gosh, I just don't think I can do this anymore. And I thought maybe it was just, I needed a change of scenery and a different company. But the more
What were
work
you said marketing? What were you
uh,
specifically doing?
uh, electronics, the headset company,
Got it. Yep.
product marketing. So I was there for, like I said, I think almost a decade, like 8 years or something.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, the more work I did, it wasn't that I just needed a change of scenery. I really felt like I needed to follow this kind of passion for understanding yourself more and like just being more. I really didn't. I didn't see life as full, I guess, until I started doing all this work.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, then when I did my whole training, that went beyond, and then I was like sealed the deal, like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I really feel like it's also being able to spread these like really helpful tools and tips and tricks. If it can make people ultimately like be healthier and happier, like we need that.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, honestly, this needs to be taught like in elementary school and, having support all the way from the beginning. But if this is something that I can do for now, then, I want to do it.
And I think the accountability part is huge. And like having somebody to remind you, like I can feel myself start to just get a little like more agitated, grumpy, tired if I don't like get physically healthy. Like I need to be outside, I need to be walking or doing some sort of aerobics on almost at least daily. And sometimes I forget because I get busy. I think when we were talking the other day, we were talking about the quadrant. And for me, it's like I am type A personality. And I'm like, okay, right now I'm focusing on business and that like is all consuming. And so I forget sometimes and I can feel like I just start kind of getting grumpy and grumpier. And my husband's pretty good about asking or checking in, but I think he doesn't also want to like push too hard because he's like, you're doing your thing, great. But I think that accountability part, like if we had a conversation and I was like, I know this about me, but sometimes I forget to make it the self-care, right? It's the self-care and having somebody that's like able to recognize that and help stay on track and focus on that part of it. And then I would imagine that then you see the transformation in all aspects of your life.
Yeah. And it's funny, there's something about, you can tell yourself one thing and then have someone else say the exact same thing. And it takes on a whole different meaning, or it takes on more significance, which, ideally we'd like to be able to listen to ourselves, but sometimes it's like almost like getting that permission from someone else to like say, yes, you really do need to make sure that, you're okay physically and mentally, and it's okay to, go do those things and make them fit into your schedule. Sometimes that's what people need.
Yeah, I think it's great what you're doing. I'm not in the quarter life, but like in between. So when you have almost 40s, tell me.
Well, you're welcome anytime.
I always need a little pep and boost for sure. Yeah, I would love to join one of your classes. I'm like, if nothing else, even if I'm not in that phase anymore, I'm just interested always in like learning about myself and growing.
Yeah, the exercises are, it's also, I like to remind people, even if you've done this before, seen this before, the repetition of doing some of this stuff is so important. So it's always helpful.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, I'm going to join you, and I think everybody else should join you. So hopefully we'll input all your contact information in your website and they'll all reach out. But thank you for being here, Lauren.
Thank you for having me, and I hope to see some of you guys.
Yes, in real life someday.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.